Hello, everybody. Welcome to my extras channel here. I have to do this video because I'm so excited about all of this. I honestly could not believe I was seeing this right now. BBC have just dropped a bombshell on us today, and judging by the image you're about to see, which is this image right here with James Corden, Ruth Jones, they have officially announced the last ever episode of Gavin and Stacey is coming to us this Christmas Day on BBC One and BBC iPlayer. And I'm not even joking. They've got a press release for this right now, even though it's a bit vague in terms of details, because they obviously don't want to give anything away. It's understandable. I mean, the only thing they kind of say is that we have chicken bhaji, lamb bhaji, prawn bhaji, mushroom rice, bag of chips, Himalayan naan, I probably butchered the pronunciation there, nine poppadoms, and the last ever episode of Gavin and Stacey. And then obviously James Corden and Ruth Jones would go on to say, some news, it's official. We have finished writing the last ever episode of Gavin and Stacey. See you on Christmas Day, BBC One. Love, Ruth and James. That is insane. Honestly, insane to me that we are officially going to be getting the return of Gavin and Stacey in 2024. And the fact that they have already confirmed this is going to be airing on Christmas Day this year blows my mind. It honestly blows my mind that this is only, it's only been since 2019 since we last saw Gavin and Stacey. I originally thought we would have to wait till the end of this 2020s decade, right? Turns out I was wrong. It turns out they were planning for 2024 this entire time, and it's insane to me that in 2024, Gavin and Stacey is going to be having its finale in 2024, the year. I honestly didn't think it was going to, I think a lot of us went into this year thinking it was never going to happen. But the fact that it's happening blows my mind. That Gavin and Stacey is coming back for Christmas this year to give us the send-off that I truly believe Gavin and Stacey deserves. Now, I know a lot of Gavin and Stacey fans are going to be obviously referring to the cliffhanger that we got at the end of the last special. In case you didn't watch the episode, which I do recommend going to watch Gavin and Stacey, there'll be a link to BBC iPlayer. Please go and watch it if you can, please, because it's going to be relevant to the finale, obviously, because everything makes sense, right? The previous episode we had a cliffhanger that shows Nessa proposing to Smithy. A lot of people and I saw the reaction videos that some people did. A lot of people were very convinced that he was going to say yes, but they weren't too sure whether he was going to say yes. So I'm wondering if this episode will finally confirm whether Smithy said yes to Nessa or whether he turned her down. What do we reckon, guys? All right, well, let me know in the comments, right? Do you guys believe that Smithy did say yes to Nessa after that event, after that Christmas? Do you think they said they agreed to that wedding? Or do you believe Smithy turned her down knowing he would find someone else? What do you reckon that whole plot line's going to end up being? There's a part of me that feels like Smithy would say no, but then there's a part of me that's holding on to that decision for a little while. So I'm starting to lean towards that maybe there's a possibility that Smithy may have held on to that decision for maybe 3 years, potentially. What do you reckon? Do you reckon there's a possibility that Smithy could have not said anything for 3 years to Nessa, and then he finally makes a decision on make a decision the next Christmas they meet, or 3 Christmases later? What do you reckon? Do you reckon that's a scenario we could see? I think there's a possibility there we could see that. My goodness, Gavin and Stacey, the finale. I am so excited about this. I mean, honestly, you can tell by my voice, I'm so excited that they're going to do this. I mean, obviously, they don't say who's going to be in there, but I think it's safe to say we're going to get Gavin back, we're going to get Stacey back, we're going to get Bryn, maybe Smithy's sister Rudy, if we're lucky. Please bring her back because she deserves to be there for the finale. Yeah, maybe Smithy's mum might return. If the wedding is happening, then yeah, it makes sense that she should be there. And then of course you got Dawn and Pete, the couple that always loves to fight. I feel like we're probably going to see them one more time, considering they have a history of arguing all the time. So it makes sense that we're probably going to see them arguing again. Considering they always have an appearance whenever there's a Gavin and Stacey episode, they always have a section where they appear for a brief few minutes, so I fully expect them to be in there now. And then in terms of every other characters, I think Yeah, there's also Jason. I feel like Jason could be in here. But then again, I mean, I think the only way you could get Jason in is if there is a wedding. Considering it's a Christmas episode, there is a chance if it's set at Christmas, we'll see him. If it's not set at Christmas and it's going to take place, hopefully, during a wedding, if that's where they're aiming for, then yeah, I fully expect Jason to be there because, like, why would Jason not be there for Nessa's wedding? Like, that don't make sense. Like, sure, he might be Stacey's brother, but like he gets along with Nessa regardless of any arguments they have. Nessa still, still gets along with Jason, so I feel like he needs to be there, especially, he's a part of the family, right? So of course he has to be there if there's going to be a wedding. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting because they could set this at during Christmas, or which would mean it would be a Christmas wedding, or they could go the opposite and set this during the summer where there's a wedding during the summer. So what do you reckon? Do you reckon it could be a Christmas wedding or a summer wedding? Oh yeah, let me know in the comments whether you would prefer them to have a wedding in the summer or a wedding during Christmas. What would be more appealing for this story? Because I feel like because they don't mention Christmas in the tease here, I'm starting to think it's not going to be set at Christmas, but more specifically set either in the spring or the summer of the year that they're telling, right? But then again, there is a chance they could do this as a way to maybe show us what happens to the characters during the pandemic, because there is one thing they're going to need to acknowledge during the finale is the whole pandemic situation, because of course, we got to know what happens with Gavin and Stacey when they had to social distance and be apart because of the pandemic and restrictions and stuff. So I'm wondering if we're going to see that in the episode, considering this is probably going to be set either a year later or maybe a few months later. So that would mean 2020, right? So this would obviously take place so it'll be interesting to see how they're going to incorporate that into Gavin and Stacey. But then again, if it was set in the pandemic, there wouldn't be that much filming going on, because if it's the pandemic, they would have to social distance on set in order for this to work out. So it has to probably be set probably 3 years after, probably after the pandemic, right? Surely, I mean, yeah, sure, they'll mention the pandemic, but I feel like it would make more sense if they make the episode happen during 22 or I don't know, maybe 2022, 2023, possibly. Maybe last year they could set this in to make it more sense in a way that you can have them move around and meet up instead of just locked indoors and having to watch video calls just to chat and everything. Which, I mean, you could have a little bit of elements of that where you could have like one of the characters think it's think we're still in the pandemic. Maybe Pete and Dawn think they're in the pandemic still, and you could do something with that. But I mean, you've got to make it so that they can meet up. So it would have to be either 2022 or 2023 in order for them to properly engage, because that's when us as human beings were able to meet up with friends again. So it would make sense it would have to be 2022, 2023 script terms in order for them to show Gavin meeting Stacey, etc. Yeah, so let me know in the comment section. Do you think we're getting do you reckon it's going to be set during the pandemic, which would mean less filming with the fans watching? Or do you feel like they are going to take this place either in 2022 or 2023, so then we get to see some of the action for the finale, which would make the most sense, because if the fans are going to be there, they're going to want to meet and greet the stars, right? So you would want to at least have something filmed publicly, so at least fans could like speculate, oh, what could they be doing? So I feel like there's a possibility it could be either 2022, 2023 could be the setting for this episode, considering the fact that if they did it in 2021, it would be still lockdown, regardless of how they see it. They would still be forced to do video calls and stuff in the episode, which, I mean, they're going to obviously have to address the pandemic in the script, of course, but I think it would be better if they set it after the pandemic, so then they could just talk about it briefly, and then that way they get to still meet up and stuff, which I think makes the most sense in terms of logic sense, because if they're doing a wedding, they've got to make it so they can meet up. So yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how they go about all of this, considering they've got to explain that part, which is the pandemic. But then but also at the same time, they've got to make this as a celebration of the show. So I'm starting to think that the way they're gonna wrap up this episode is they're gonna maybe show some behind the scenes, or maybe they'll show some clips of them meeting the fans at the end of the filming. So I think that would be really cool. Honestly, if they did this thing where they show camera crew looking at the fans and then they meet and greet the fans after the filming to sort of celebrate the fans' love with Gavin and Stacey, that would be the most beautiful way to end it, because then it shows how much we love it and how much they appreciate us loving the show, which I think would be a really nice way to sort of say goodbye to a show that's had BAFTA awards and has been beloved to so many people, including myself, because I love Gavin and Stacey, and it's such a, ever since I was introduced to it by my family members, I've just fell in love with it ever since. And Gavin and Stacey is just like, it's one of those programs that just gets you not just like in an emotional level, but more importantly in levels that you can relate to some of the stuff, right? So that's why I feel like this episode is going to be one of those where they're going to treat it like how they treated Vicar and Dibley, where they show some of the behind the scenes, some of the actors enjoying themselves whilst filming the episode, and I feel like there's probably going to be a behind the scenes episode. I think we're going to see like a behind the scenes this Christmas where they show us them making the finale. I think they should do a special program for that, so then that way you get an idea of like, okay, this is how they filmed that finale scene, and this is how, this is what they were doing building up to this last ever episode. So you get an idea of like what inspired them to make this episode and make this finale, and inspired certain things in the finale to sort of say goodbye to this great show, that's this great comedy that's been loved by loads of people in the UK and probably worldwide. And it's just crazy to think here we are. We're now about to see the finale to Gavin and Stacey, and who knows what's going to happen? Who knows where they're going to end it? But one thing is for sure: Christmas Day is going to be lit. It's going to be mint, as Nessa usually says. But yeah, man, it's going to be tidy. But nevertheless, we're going to say, it's just, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this. I'm so excited. It's making me want to plan a trip to Barry Island, because I've never been to Barry Island. And now that this has been announced, it's giving me more reasons to want to plan that trip more now, considering they're going to end up filming in Barry Island soon. And it's making me like want to actually go there and love to like give James Corden a hug and say thank you for making this show, because if it wasn't for him and Ruth, we wouldn't be getting a show like this, because I love this show. I honestly do. It's so funny. It's so entertaining. And every time I watch it, I just fell in love with it, honestly. And yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for this finale. And if I'm lucky, maybe I'll get to be there when they're filming it. I mean, maybe. If we're lucky, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I like to believe they will be filming soon, because they're gonna be at Barry Island soon, right? Surely they're gonna be there, hopefully during the summer. So I'm hoping soonish we'll get to do a trip to Barry Island, so we get to see some of the filming for this episode and get to see all the craziness that's going to go on, because I guarantee you a lot of Gavin and Stacey fans are going to be in Barry Island very soon, just to see what all the fuss is about for this finale. So yeah, I fully expect Barry Island to be packed soon. I fully expect it. Regardless, though, it's gonna be an incredible experience to be able to see this finale be in person and see this finale being built in front of me. Would be incredible to experience. I honestly can't wait for this episode. But yeah, let me know in the comment section. Are you excited for Gavin and Stacey's finale? And also, what would you like to see from this finale of Gavin and Stacey? What would you like to see come out of it? Because they spent some time writing it. They've just finished writing it. Now it's just a matter of them filming it. So hopefully I'll get to visit Barry Island soon to see some of the fun that they're going to be doing regarding this. Because I trust me, I have to be. I have never been to Barry Island, but I'm so excited if I get the opportunity to, because that would be like a dream for me right there, to go to Barry Island and be able to see all this action happen in front of me, see James Corden and Ruth building what I personally believe will be probably one of the best finales, or probably one of the best episodes of Gavin and Stacey has ever had. And I really like to believe that's what they're aiming for. If they're aiming for that, then total confidence that they are going to do an amazing finale for this show, because they spent some time building it. So I have no doubt to believe they have got some really cool things planned, Gavin and Stacey. So please, no pressure, James, no pressure, Ruth. We're all behind you on this. I truly believe you have probably written a script that not only we can be proud of, but also the actors can be proud of. So hopefully whatever's going to be coming out from this script, it's going to be something we'll talk about for years. It's kind of what I'm hoping. So I'll catch you all with a Who Universe news very shortly, but I have to put this out here because massive fan of Gavin Stacey. I can't wait for Christmas Day, for Christmas to come and see this episode in action, and maybe even get to visit the island, the actual Barry Island, the filming location of Gavin and Stacey, and get to see the fuss happen in front of me. Would be a dream, right? I'll see you guys in the next one.